I'm licensed marriage and family therapist Joe Follette Jr. Welcome back to the second video in my series. In this series, I'm sharing what it takes to become a sizzling hot marriage. In order to have a sizzling hot marriage, you've got to get a sizzle mindset. A sizzle mindset represents 8 levels of intimacy a couple must achieve to become all that God intended for them to be. These 8 levels of intimacy are being committed, being flexible, being available, being calm, being talkative, being sexy, being mindful, and being God-centered. In this video, I'm going to teach you how the second sizzle mindset level of intimacy, being flexible, can reduce the conflict and increase your marital satisfaction significantly. The reason why couples argue is because they lack in the ability to look at things from another person's perspective. Some people can only see things from their own viewpoint. They are completely unaware of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of others, even when they are told. They can't evaluate things from someone else's point of view. If one says, "I'm cold," the person who fails in perspective taking says, "I feel fine." Failing to acknowledge how their spouse is feeling and maybe missing an opportunity to make their spouse more comfortable. Instead of listening to and accepting what their spouse is saying as a fact, they analyze it from their viewpoint, trying to decide if they agree or not. People like this can be the worst to live and work with because they know everything and have very little empathy or understanding for others. I hope that's not you. If you or your spouse is like this, I totally understand why you're watching this video. You want something different for your marriage. Well, learning how to be flexible and seeing things from your spouse's perspective will completely eliminate the conflict and tension in your marriage. Seeing things from your spouse's perspective doesn't mean you see it that way or that you agree with them. Too many couples settle with agreeing to disagree. To me, agreeing to disagree is completely unproductive and unnecessary. It is based on the assumption that every conflict deserves a decision, when that is simply not the case. Your spouse ought to be able to express their opinion without you having to decide if you agree with it or not. Can't they simply have their opinion? We need to agree on our family budget, not on how the state spends its budget. Couples argue about so many non-essential opinions. Learning to be flexible completely eliminates this. When you are flexible, your spouse can have a negative opinion about you, and you are okay with it. Flexibility allows your spouse to operate outside of your expectations. Flexibility is adjusting your expectations. Flexibility is allowing for compromise. Flexibility is being open to negotiation and receptivity to third-party intervention, somebody else's opinion. Forgiveness is flexibility. Recognizing your spouse is growing, maturing, and changing over time, over a lifetime, giving them room to make mistakes and fail in loving you the way they should. Flexibility is a level of intimacy many couples fail to achieve because they are so rigid and stubborn. Many times we learn this rigidity from our parents, who had to have everything a certain way. Having experienced a barrage of negativity for not doing things the right way, you can become neurotic yourself and reproduce those same behaviors as an adult, insisting that everybody agrees with you and does things the right way, your way. In other words, if your parents drove you crazy, it is highly likely that you're reproducing those same tendencies with your loved ones and driving them crazy. But there is hope for you. People can change. You can train your brain to think differently. That is what I did when I looked in the mirror. I began to see things differently. I began to see things from my wife's perspective. That was a game changer. That is what I do as a marriage and family therapist. I help people see things differently. I help them think, feel, and behave differently. I do this by just suggesting a different perspective in a way that's, receptive and a way they can receive it. I became a therapist because I love helping people be happy. There is no good reason to live your life miserable. No matter what your external circumstances are, you can be happy. And yes, you can be happily married. In my marriage rehab program, couples spend 9 months under my mentorship learning how to be happy. I offer a money-back guarantee because I know it is possible for you to retrain your brain. You can have a sizzling hot marriage if you get a sizzle mindset. Once you've learned how to be flexible, your stress level will decrease significantly. You will no longer feel responsible for everybody and everything. You will learn how to keep your mouth shut and when you need to speak up. You'll be able to experience balanced relationships. I remember my own transformation that began with how I saw my wife and moved over to how I related to my son, who at the time was causing me a lot of frustration. He was going through those terrible teens and I was pulling my hair out. However, I was able to shift my mindset to become more flexible with him, and our relationship completely changed. Instead of treating his disrespect with anger and trying to bully him into cooperating and being respectful, I treated him with firm boundaries. This small adjustment reduced both of our stress and allowed us both to focus on the behaviors rather than our emotions. This is the type of adjustment that you must make in how you see your spouse when they are doing things and saying things the way you wouldn't do them. You must learn to be patient and not so insistent on having your way right now. If you want to be happy in your marriage, you need to have fewer hang-ups. You need to be open to your spouse's ideas and desires. You need to loosen up and enjoy your life more. Today will soon be gone, so enjoy it. Enjoy each meal you eat. Enjoy the love you share with your spouse today. Don't stay stuck in the pain they caused you yesterday. If you do, you won't enjoy today, and your tomorrow looks bleak. They may have made some bad mistakes. Don't hold that over their head forever. If you decided to stay, then you need to put your all into making your marriage what you had hoped it to be. If you decided to stay, don't allow your fear of them hurting you again paralyze you and prevent you from making today the best love-making day ever. If you have some serious obstacles to overcome, flex a little and get the help you need to overcome them, so that in 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, you won't be in the same or worse situation. The ability to be flexible will take your marital intimacy to the next level. It will reduce your conflict and create more time for lovemaking. So I want you to take a moment right now, between 0 and 100%. Where do you mark yourself on the being flexible scale? Be sure to watch my third video in this series on being available, the third level of intimacy a couple must achieve to have a sizzle mindset. Give me a thumbs up by subscribing to my channel. Get a copy of my book if you haven't, The Sizzle Mindset, 7 Secrets to Keep the Passion Alive in Your Marriage, and start learning what you need to do today to turn your marriage around. See you in the next video.